All right, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the food truck fiasco. So this is book number 4 in the Tuttle Twin series. Um, so the boys have read it, right?
Probably.
Probably. You read it? All right. Good. So, well, let's get started. So, Jack, why don't you give us, actually, first, just to rehash why we're doing this while the boys are home during e-learning. We're taking this time to dive into some free market economics, basics, learn about the law, constitution, capitalism, all that good stuff that they don't get enough of uh, in school right now. So here we go. This week, we're talking about the basics of business, regulations, protectionism, competition, and what happens when the local government oversteps its bounds in the free market and the effects that come from that. So, Jack, why don't you give us your summary of this book? What was it about?
The Tuttle twins went to a football game, and then there were a bunch of food trucks there, and a police officer came and told them they had to leave because they weren't allowed to be within 2,000 feet of a restaurant or a stadium or something.
Okay. All right, Bo, what was the main theme of the book? Really the main idea?
Regulation. I don't
Okay.
know.
Regulations?
Laws?
Yeah. And what about laws?
Like laws that protectionism.
Protectionism? Okay. Cool. So we'll get into all of that as we go. So, yeah, that was the main theme. There was a food truck owner who said she needed to shut down her business because she couldn't make a profit because of the regulations that were imposed on her made it too difficult to actually make a profit in the business, so she had to shut down. The Tuttle twins devised a plan to help her business and help save the food truck business in their little town, and they were successful. That's the result of the book. Um, so let's talk about why did Amy, the food truck owner, have to close her business, or why did she decide she was going to close the business?
Because she wasn't making enough money, and
Okay, why wasn't she making enough money?
because of all the laws and the regulations to food truck owners.
Okay, so what were those laws and regulations? How are they preventing her from making money?
They were protecting the bigger businesses.
Okay, right. So basically, she had to shut down her business because she wasn't making enough profit. So what's profit?
The money you make, so you have to buy stuff for your business,
Mm-hmm.
and then the profit is the money that you get to keep.
Right, that you get to keep at the end of the day, right? So it's the money that you spend on your business, the money that you make from your business minus the money that you spend on the business. That's your profit. So a business, it wouldn't be a business and it wouldn't be in business if it wasn't profitable, right? Because you got to make money to pay everybody and keep it going. So yeah, that makes sense. If she's not making a profit, then you're going to close a business. That's pretty basic. So what were some of these local rules that their local government imposed on the food truck owners? What did they tell them?
They couldn't be 2,000. They had to be 2,000 feet, or they couldn't be within 2,000 feet of a restaurant.
Okay. Yep, that was one of them. Do you remember any other?
You have to be an adult to work at a food truck.
Okay. All right. Good. So, and why, according to the book, why were those regulations created by that city?
Because the government, or I don't know, someone who worked in the government was good friends with the person who owned the big restaurant, the
Right.
barbecue restaurant.
Right. Okay, so Bob's Big Barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob, the owner, knew somebody in the government and influenced him to make laws that would
Protect his business.
Protect his business, which is the definite, basically what we're talking about. Protectionism, right? So what is protectionism? How would you define that then?
Protectionism is a law that protects like the bigger businesses, so the smaller businesses couldn't become as big.
Okay, so it prevents anybody from competing with them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that was one of the main themes of this book, and right out of the back of the book, protectionism they define as shielding one business or industry from competition by others using taxes or regulations. So they use the law to protect one business over another. So can you guys think of anything? I don't know if you remember seeing any of this during the whole COVID and quarantine and all that, when a lot of businesses were shut down. Does anything come to mind on maybe that could have been a protectionist measure the government took?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, it was probably not something that you remember, but there were some big businesses that got to remain open, like Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, while at the same time, some smaller businesses who made the exact same products were forced to close. So that could be an example of protectionism where, hey, we're going to let these big businesses stay open, but if you're a small one, we're going to make you close with no rhyme or reason. They just made that the law. So, okay. So by instituting these protectionism laws, you said it's preventing Bob or other companies from being able to do what?
Get as big as them.
Yeah, compete, right, for business. Okay, so let's talk about competition in the business place. So you guys both play sports. How do you define competition?
Competition, like trying to beat your opponent.
Okay, and how do you beat your opponent?
By working harder than them.
Working harder might be one way, yeah.
Scoring more goals or baskets.
Right, just being better, right? That's the only way to beat the competition is to be better if it's a fair competition. So how does that play in the business area, like the free market and with businesses? How does competition play out there?
People try to make better quality food with lower prices.
Yeah, good. So is competition a good thing for business?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Who does it really benefit?
The smaller businesses.
The smaller businesses, but who does competition really benefit? The business owners or the people that use their business?
The business owners.
Well, it really benefits you and me, right? If there's other restaurants competing for our business, they're trying to both get us to go to their restaurant, right? So it really benefits us, because what does competition in business actually do? What does that do for those businesses that have to compete? What are they forced to do?
Forced to lower their prices.
Maybe, yeah, they're forced to offer greater value, right? Maybe that's, and price isn't always indicative of value, but that's definitely one of them. So what happens, Bo, if a business doesn't have any competition? Let's just say you opened up a dog waste cleanup business in the neighborhood, and you were the only one who had that business. Would that be good for you?
Maybe.
Yeah, sure. Of course it's good for you. There's no competition, right? But would you have to be really, really good?
Probably.
You'd have to be good enough for people to pay you. But what if Jack decided to open up a dog cleaning up business in the neighborhood also? What would that force you to do?
Either like lower the price or something.
Or
do a better job.
Or do a better job, right? Or maybe both, right? So competition between two businesses is good for everybody else who would use those businesses. Because in a free market, if your business is not good, you have the right as somebody who goes to those businesses to not go there, not spend your money there anymore. You can just say, well, that's not a good business. I'm going to go somewhere else, right? Good. A good example might be like, you guys know who Henry Ford is?
No.
You know, Ford truck,
Yeah.
Ford cars. Henry Ford started that company about 100 years ago or more, probably more than 100 years ago. Well, when he first created the Model T, which was like the really first popular car he made, you know how many colors you had the option of choosing from if you wanted to buy one? One. Do you know what color that was?
White.
Black. So you could have any color you wanted as long as it's black. That's what he would say. But when other companies started creating cars kind of like his, what did they do?
Make different colors.
Yeah, sure, they made different colors. And then what did Henry Ford have to do?
Make different colors.
Make different colors and make a better car, right? So now you have the Bugatti that you're going to drive someday, right? And the Ford Raptor that you're going to drive someday, which are pretty awesome cars that wouldn't exist if it wasn't for competition. Cool. So what did the twins do? Let's get to the conclusion of this. What did the twins do to help Amy keep her business?
They set up a protest.
Okay, a protest. Cool. What was the purpose of that?
To get to stop protectionism.
Yeah, to bring attention to these regulations that were putting these little businesses out of business, right? Cool. So yeah, so they protested. They did like what is a little protest, and then what did they do? What else did they do?
They
Did they go talk to like the city council?
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, so they met with the city council, and really what they did was brought it to everybody's attention. Everybody in the city, they brought it to their attention that, hey, look at these regulations that are out there, and it's forcing these businesses to close because they're not allowed to compete. And then they got enough support from the community, from the citizens, to put pressure on the politicians to change the law, right? So what is this book, along with some of the other books we've read, taught you about what we can do if we don't agree with the laws that are in place?
We can protest.
Yeah, you can protest. You see a lot of that. What else can you do?
Talk to the mayor.
Talk. Yeah, talk to the politicians in charge, the people in charge making the rules. Yeah. Now think back. Remember a few weeks ago we did a book on the law. What did we? All right, let's see. Let's reach back in your memory. Can you remember this? What is the role of the government? The proper role of government. What are they supposed to do?
Protect our rights.
Okay, but protect what specifically? Yeah, your rights. So that would be like your life, right? They protect your life,
Protect your property.
your property,
And your liberty.
and your liberty, which is also called,
The Constitution.
liberty is also called freedom,
Freedom.
right? So yeah, life, liberty, and property. So did any of these laws and regulations actually help those businesses do that? Did it protect any of those things for them?
No.
No. So it was really not the law just served a purpose of protecting one business over the others. Laws must be equal. So it must protect everybody equally. Right? All right. Cool. Well, that was a short lesson. That was a fun book. Also taught a little bit about just being an entrepreneur. And if you want to start a business, obviously there's laws and regulations you have to follow. But there's also the most important part, which is you have to stay in business, you must what?
Be better than the competition.
And what does that do for you?
Makes people go to you.
Yeah, which gives you what?
Money.
Money. So you got to make money, right? And if you can't make a profit, which is making more than you spend, then you go out of business, right? Exactly. All right. Cool. Well, thanks for paying attention. Again, I highly recommend these books. Very, very good set of books, 11 of them. Next week, I forget which one we're doing next week, but we should be here same time, same day, same bad channel next week. Thanks for joining. See ya.